Hey, what's up everyone, hope you are doing fine. John here, the founder of Get to Know It, and in today's video I'm going to show you how you can create a pricing web page. A pricing web page is your opportunity to take control of the price conversation and make it easier for people to buy. And having said that, and without so much ado, let's get started. So our web page have three parts. It has the nav bar on top here, and it has the body and the footer. So in the body we have this header here and some content. We have a few cards that has the pricing, that has different buttons, and of course now we have the footer here. This web page is fully responsive. If you come and resize that there, you're going to find that the website will respond to the size of the browser. And if I head on to the web developer tab, just go to this hamburger, and then I click web developer, and then I can come and switch to a responsive design mode. So this will help us to see how responsive the website is, or the web page is. So as you can see, the website is responding very well to the size of the various screen that I have. So this is what we'll be designing in this video. Hope you like it, and if you'd like to know how you can be able to design these very cool website using Bootstrap, stick with me up to the end. Alright, so you made it to the tutorial, and without so much ado, let's get started. So the first thing that we are going to do is to create our project folder, which I've already done. So I've created my project folder that I have named as pricing. So what I want to do is to open that folder in my text editor, and so I'll head on to my text editor, which is Visual Studio, and I already have that folder open. So if you don't know how you can be able to open the folder in Visual Studio, you can head on to File, and then you say Open Folder, and then you come and select your specific folder, and then you see Select Folder, and the folder should appear here. So as you can see, in my project folder we don't have anything so far, so I'm going to create the several files that we require in Visual Studio. So to do that, I'll head on to the Visual Studio, and on top here I have two options. I have an option to create a new file, and I have another option to create a new folder. So what I just want to do now is to create a new file, which is the index.html. So I'm just going to say a new file, and then I'm just going to say index.html, HTML, and then I press enter, and that should simply create the file for me there, and that file should also be opened automatically. I'll also create another file, which is a CSS, but before I create the CSS, what I want to do is to have it within a subfolder. So I'll first of all create a subfolder here, and I can just come and call it style, and then now within style I'm going to create now the CSS file, and I'll just come and call it pricing.css. Pricing.css. Yes, so just like that. So as you can now see, I'm already in the pricing.css, and now if I head back to my project file, I'm going to see the two items. I'm going to see the folder and the index.html, and when I open the style, I'm going to see the pricing.css. Alright, so the next thing that I want to do is to open this index.html on a browser, that is a Mozilla Firefox. So I'm just going to double click to open that, because we need to see what we are coding. We need to see how the browser will be translating what we are coding. So we have it there. So I can now just minimize that and get to my index.html document, and let me just have what we are creating open on this side here. So this is what we are creating, the pricing web page, and we want to start with the topmost part of the web page, which is the navigation bar here. So to do that, Well, first of all, have the basic HTML structure, and in Visual Studio you can simply type the exclamation mark and the tab, and that will give you the basic structure here. So what I just want to do is to come and change the title, and I will call it pricing. So I'm just going to come and call it pricing there. And remember, the title is the name that will appear in the tab of your browser. So for instance, if I come and refresh that, I'm going to see that name appearing there. Alright, so the next thing that I want to do is to link to the various CSS files that I will have. And just before I forget, I need to also have the bootstrap.css files here, because we are using Bootstrap to create this cool web page. So before we go on, I want to head on to my project file, and I want to have the CSS files there. So I'll be using one of the latest version of Bootstrap, that is a Bootstrap 5 alpha. Remember, this is just an alpha, so you can use a Bootstrap 4, it will also work, but I'm just going to come and copy the Bootstrap 5 alpha Bootstrap files. So this is something that you can freely download from the Bootstrap website. So you can just head on to your browser and search for Bootstrap 5 alpha download, and you're going to get these files. So I'm just going to come and grab these files, and I want to have them within my style.css here. Yes, so this is just to help me to style my cool pricing web page. Alright, so now I have those files there, as you can see. Cool. So the next thing that I now want to do is to link to them. So I'll come to my header here, and first of all I want to come and create a comment, and I want to come and call these Bootstrap files. So I can just come and say Bootstrap core CSS. So let me just come and say Bootstrap core CSS. And I can also come and copy it down here. Sorry, I want to come and copy it down here, and just want to have it closed, so we know where it ends and where it closes. So I want to link to the bootstrap.css files here. So what I'll just do, I'll have the link attribute, and I'll just come and have the href with a path where I have the CSS file. So basically I'm linking to the bootstrap.min.css. so I'll just come here and say style, and then I can just come and pick the bootstrap.min.css, which is alright. So that is it. So the next thing that I also want to link to is the pricing.css, because I'll be having some custom CSS. So I'll also come and have link, and I'll have the href as style and pricing.css. Now, having linked all the CSS files that we want, now it's time that we get started. So the first thing that I'll do is to create a comment here, and I'll call the comment navigation. So I'll also come and close the navigation comment down here, And then now within the comment, I'm now going to have my navigation bar. So the first thing that I'll do is to create a div, and I'll give this div a class, and the first class will be a dflex. The second will be a flex color, and I'll also have a flex MD low. I'll also have the items aligned at the center using this class align items center. I'll also have the background white with this class bg white, and I'll also have a border, so just come and say border bottom. I want to have a border at the bottom, so just come and say border bottom. And as shadow, so I'll just come and say shadow. Sorry, we have shadow SM. I'll also create some padding there, so I'll just come and have P3 and also PX MD3. Alright, so those are the classes that we require in that div there. So now within the div, what we want to have is the first name, that is the company name or the blood name on top here. So we are going to have that within a h5 element. So I'm just going to say h5, and I'm going to give it several classes. So the first class will be my0, and the second one will be my md0, and the other class I want to give it is the md auto. So this will just help me to align that blood name to the left. And then the next thing that I want to do is to style the font size. So I'll just come and say font I want to style the font weight, which is font weight normal, and I'll come and have the name here, which is company name. Alright, so if we come and save that and see from the browser how things look so far, yeah, we have that cool name appearing there at the center because the browser is that small. But if we maximize it like that, we're going to have the name appearing on the left, and we have that border there and that shadow. Alright, moving on to the next thing, I want to have these several links. So to do that, I'm going to come to the div that I've just created here, and within the div I'm going to have a nav element, and I'm going to give the nav element a class of my2. Sorry, I should start with the class, and the class is my2, my -2, and my md -0. I'm just aligning the items, and then md3. Alright, so now I can now open the navigation, and now within the navigation element, or within the nav element, I can come and have several anchor tags to represent the links. So I'll just come and say a * 4, because I need 4 anchor tags, and then I just press enter. And what I want to do is to give them a class. So I'm just going to come and say class is equals p2, and then the text should be dark. So I want to have these in all the anchor tags, so I'll just come and copy that and paste it in all the anchor tags that I have there. Let me just align things properly here so that you can see what is going on, and then I can just come and have a hashtag here. Cool. And then now I can come and name this. So the first is fishes, so fishes, and then the second one is enterprise, and then we have support, and the last 3 we have pricing. Good. So let's save and see how the browser translates that. Cool. So everything now looks good. The blood name is appearing on the left there, and the various links are appearing on the right, and there is that space at the middle. Alright, moving on to the next. So the next thing that I want to create is this button that is below the rings. So I'm just going to go below the navigation, and I'm going to have an anchor tag with a class of btn. Sorry, it should be btn. So I'm going to have a class of btn, a btn outline primary. So this is to give it that blue color. Alright, so we are done with the nav, we're done with the navigation there, so we can save that and see how the browser translates that before we go to the next thing. Oh, sorry, we forgot to add the sign up, and now everything should be good. Alright, so we are done with the navigation. So the next thing that I want now to design or create is the pricing part. So to have the pricing part, we're going to head on back to our HTML document, and as usual we are going to start with a comment that says that this is the pricing part. So I'm just going to come and have pricing here, and I want to also come and close it. So I'll come and grab this, and what I want to do is to have it down here so that I can just come and close it there. So now it is here that we are going to have the pricing. So to start this, we are going to create again a div and give it a class of pricing header. So I'm just going to come and say dot pricing header, and we're also going to add some more classes here just to make sure that that div is well styled. So we're going to start with px -3 and pt -, MD5. So this is just to align the items or the content within this div. I'm also going to come and say that the text should be centered, so I'll say text center. Yes, and first of all we can just have that for now. Then below that we're going to have a h1 element that will have the name pricing, and we are going to have it with a class of display. We're going to have it with a class of display 4, and we pricing there. Alright, so we have the pricing there. Now below the pricing we want to have some text within a paragraph, so I'm going to have a paragraph with a class of read. Alright, so within the paragraph we can have some content, so we can just come and say alright, so let's save that and see how it looks on the browser so far. So we can see if we are doing good. Alright, so things looks good now. That's well placed. So the next thing that we now want to do is to create these cards. So we have at least 3 cards here, so we will just create one, and then we are going to copy that code, and then we just edit some text. Alright, so what I'll do, I'll just go below this div, and I'll create another div here called container. So maybe I can also come and comment this out. Don't know whether it will make any sense. Maybe I just come and call these cards and just come and copy that so that I can close it down here. Yeah, so now we want to have our cards here, so I can just come and create a div with a class of container. So just come and say dot container. So within this div I want to create a low, so I'll create a div with a class of low, and I'll add some styles to this div as well. So I'll just come and say low hyphen calls hyphen 1. So I just want to say that I want 1 low and 3 columns. So to do that I'm having these classes. So the first is low, second one is low calls 1, then the other one is low hyphen calls hyphen md hyphen 3. So that's to mean that I want at least 3 columns. And raster I'll also come and say mb3, and I also want the text to be centered, so I'll just come and say text center. Alright, so now within that we are going to have the first card. So to represent or to code the first card, we are going to have a class, we are going to have a div with a class of call. So a div with a class of call. So now that is the first column. So what I want to have in the first column is the first card, which is free. So this will be the first card, free. So what I want to do is to have this word free in that grayish background, and then list, and then that list appearing below it. So to do that I'm going to go to this column, and what I want to have in this column is a div with a class of card. So I'm just going to come and say dot card, and this card it can have a shadow, so I can come and add a shadow SM, and I can also come and say MB4. Alright, so now within this div I'm now going to have the card contents. So the first thing that I will have there is the card header. So I'll have a div with a class of card header. Now within the card header I'm going to have a h4 heading, that is h4, and the h4 I can give it a class of a class. Let me just come and have a class, so I can come and have the header of the h4 with a class. So I can just come and give it a class of my-0, and then also a font weight normal. So here I can just come and have free. Alright, so now that is the card header. So I now want to head on to the card body. So the body, I'll also create another div for it, so that is below the header, the card header, rather below the card header. So I'm just going to have another div here, and I'm going to give it a class of card body, and now within the card body we are now going to have some content. So starting with the price, so that is this $0 per month. So I'm just going to come and have h1 with a class of card title, and I'm also going to give it another class that will help us to style it later. So I'm just going to come and have pricing card title. So this is a class that will help us to style this in our custom CSS. So I'm just going to come and have $0 here, and I also want to have this grayish text here, and to have it in that grayish color, I'm just going to come and have the small element, and I'm going to have it with a class of text muted, so that will make the text look grayish, text muted of course. And then I can just come and have that per month. Let's see how things look so far before we do anything. Alright, yeah, things are looking good. Yeah, cool. So now the next thing that I want to create now is the list. So this list here. So to do that, within the body, I'm going to come and have an ordered list with a class of list unstyled. So I'm just going to come and say an ordered list with a class of list unstyled, and also just style it a little bit, span it there. So I just come and say give it a class of empty hyphen 3 and MB hyphen 4. This just helps us to create some padding and margin all out there. So within that we can come and have now the LI element, and I want at least 4 of them. So just come and say LI * 4. So we're going to have those 4 LI elements, and then we're going to have the content there. So users included, and we're going to have 2 GB of storage, and here we are going to have what email support, sorry, email support, and then we are going to have help center access. Good. Now below that we also want a button, that submit button. So I'll just come and have button here and say that the type is a button, and then a class of btn large. We want it to be large, and then we also want it to look like a block, so we are going to say btn block, and the next thing we are going to have there is btn outline primary, so that it has that blue color, so primary. And we are done with the first card. Let's look from the browser how things are looking so far. Yes, and we still need to come and add some text here, so sign up for free. Good. Let's see. Nice. Right, this looks good so far, so good. So now we can now come and copy this code. We can come and copy this column, so for the rest of the cards. So for the rest of the cards, instead of repeating that, we can just come and get rid of this, or we just come and grab this, and below here we can just come and paste that there, and again we just come and paste that there. So let's save that and see how the browser will translate that. Yeah, cool. So we have that. So we're just now going to come and change these so that they look like what we have here, Pro Enterprise and that. So so that's the first one. So the second one we call it Pro, and we come and change this to $15. We come and change this to 20 users instead of 10, and this one we make it 10 GB instead of 2, and then this one we can come and add a priority email support and help center. That's good. So now we can also come and remove the outline. We don't want it to have that outline there, and we also come and change this to Enterprise. And we also make these how many dollars? We can give it to 29 per month, and these should be 30 users included, and 15 GB instead of 10, and then this we can say phone and email support and help access center, and we can change these to contact us. So contact us, and we can also have these as get started. Save that. See how it looks on a browser. Cool. Also we need to add some text here. Alright, we added it in the wrong place, sorry. So okay, should have it here. Cool. And you should also remove the outline here. So save that and see if things looks good. And cool, things looks good, as you can see. So we just left to add some retro CSS so that we can have these at the center. Alright, but we're going to add that later. Alright, so finally we want now to have this a footer, this cool footer here. So let's head on back to our text editor here, and below here we are going to have the footer. So I'll just come and as usual have a comment, and the comment I'm just going to come and call it footer. And I want to also close that footer. Good. And now within that we're going to have our footer. So first thing, we're going to have the footer, and then we're going to give it a class. So we're going to give it a class of first border top. We want to have a border at the top, so I can just come and say border top. And I also want to create some padding and margin there, so I'm just going to come and say pt4. I'm also going to come and give it a class of my md4 5. Let me just give it 5, and then a pt -md 5. So these are bootstrap classes that will just help us to style our footer, and we can just have that for now. Now within the footer we are going to create a row, because as you can see we have 3 columns. We have 3 columns. We have these and these. So we have to first of all create a row, and then we come and divide it into the 3 columns. So I'm just going to come and create a div with a class of row. So within that I'm now going to come and partition that into several columns. So first of all I'll come and have 1 column, so that is create a div with a class of col12. I'll also add some more classes here. You can just come and say colMD. Now within that we can now come and have the image. So I'm just going to come and have the image. Just come and have an image. And I'll give it a class. I'll give this image a class of mb-2. And so far I don't have an image, so let me just try to get an image here. Let me see, I can get an image bootstrap icon. Alright, let me just come and copy this. Copy that, and what I want to do is to create a folder here. Within pricing, I can just come and create a folder, and I can call it images. So now within that, I can just come and copy the specific image. Right, pricing, okay. And let me just rename it, just call it what? Icon. Alright, so if you come to the image folder, we are going to see it there. So I can now just come and write the source path here, or the path. So we can just come and say image, and the bootstrap icon. I can also come and specify the width. So we can just come and say width, let me give it a width of 24 and a height of 24 still pixels. Alright, so save that. So I also want to have the copyright stuff. So this thing here. So I'm going to have it down here. So I'll just come and say small, and I'll give it a class of a D block, D-block, and MB-3, and the text should be gray, so text muted. So I'm going to have the ampersand copy. So I want to have that I want to have this mark here. So we're going to have it this way. So ampersand copy semicolon, and then I can just come and say 2020 2024. Yeah, come on. Cool. So we save that, so that's good. Now that's the first column. So we now want to head on to the second column down here, and still within the law. So I'm going to create another div here with a class of col6. So this, remember, specifies the size of the column, so just have it divided into 2. Alright, so col6, and I'll also come and give it a class of col medium. So now within that, I'm going to have now the several items that we have here. So these are features. So the first thing I'll have there is the hash 5, and I have it with the features. And within or below that, I'm going to have the an ordered list. An ordered list, and I'll give it a class of list unstyled. Cool. And now within that, I'm going to have the li elements. Let me just come and say that the text should be small. Text small, Now I'm going to have the li element here, so I'm just going to come and say li times how many do we have? Times 5. And within that we're going to have an anchor tag, so to have the link, so just come and have an anchor tag there. So I want to have several links within this, so I'm just going to have an anchor tag, and the anchor tag will have a class of link secondary. So just come and say class is equals link secondary. So now I want to have this anchor tag in all the li elements, so I'm just going to grab it and I'm going to paste it here. Cool. And we are now going to come and give some names here, so we just come and call these cool stuff there. Here we come and have random features and team features here. And stuff for developers. And can have one more here last one. So that features, let's see how that looks on a browser so far. Cool. Alright, things are looking better. So now because all the columns are almost the same, I'm just going to come and copy this and have it down here, because we have two of them, so I'm just going to have another one. So let's save that, see how the browser reads that. Cool. So now we can just change a few things. We just come and call these we can just come and call these resources. We just come and call these resources, and this one we can call it about. And maybe we can just come and change this for a little bit. Maybe we can call that one team. We call these what? Let me just rename it to location. Maybe we can call it privacy. Yeah, privacy. Maybe terms or anything. And then we can just come and have stuff for developers. Last one, let's just get rid of this. Just have that. Cool. Alright, so we have everything done there. Things are looking good. So we just now left to add some CSS so that the items can be squeezed at the center a little bit. So I'm going to get back to my text editor, but this time out to my CSS, and the first thing I'll style is the container that we created. So I'll just come and say dot container, and I'll give it a maximum width. I'll give it a maximum width of 960 pixels. Okay, so okay, sorry, we need to have a colon there and a semicolon at the end. Alright, so that's it. Now I also want to style the pricing, the pricing header. So again, I give it a max. Width, max width of let me give it 700 pixels. Yeah, then I save that, and we refresh that. Boom. Alright, we have a small problem somewhere. Let me try and see how I can fix that. Alright, so to fix this, because we want it to be at the center here, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to head on to my text editor, and then I go to that place that is pricing, then this div. So we need to come and add MX auto. So we need to come and add a class of MX auto. So if I save that and then I refresh it, I'm going to have it centered there. And that's how you can create this cool pricing website. You can see that it is very responsive, responding to every size of the browser. If I check that on the web developer mode here, responsive design mode rather, yeah, and we have that cool thing there. So if we come and change things allowed here, yeah, we have things looking good. Alright, that's it for this video. Hope you liked the video. Subscribe so that you can see more of this video, and as usual, see you in the next one, and don't forget to wash your hands.